it's time to crank up the truth. I'm Val Selby, and over the decades of working online, I've learned a most important lesson. Mindset owns your business. If procrastination, imposter syndrome, and a lack of focus have been blocking your biz, then I'm here with Val Full Volume, ready to help you see choices that you're making. Get ready to own your personality and use your expertise to create the business of your dreams. Now is the time to make changes and live your best life. So let's get to it. All right, peoples. Okay, how are you doing today? I just want to really yell out like a big, I moved away from the mic and did it really softly. That's not my usual woo. I'm actually usually a woohoo girl. Holy crap, there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. Doesn't that sound mysterious and like normal, what people say? I know. I'm sorry. I'm not here to be mysterious, except for I'm going to be. But let's talk about clarity first. Clarity. A word so many of us are looking for the meaning of with our business, right? If we could just find clarity, we'll have so many answers. And then we look for it and we fight for it and we pay for it. and we just beat ourselves up about it and about not having clarity. And wowza, I'm here at a point of clarity. So I'm doing this. Okay, I'm going to talk about clarity, and I want you to come in with an open mind, please, and open heart as well. Don't come in all hater, because I know how this feels when people are talking about clarity and they have felt it. I have been there for so many different times in my life when I'm like, I don't fucking know what I want to do. I don't know where I want to go. Why isn't anybody buying any of my shit? Why is nothing working? I'm trying so hard. And then somebody comes into your life and they've got clarity and you're just like, I'm going to fucking punch you. Okay. I'm just going to punch you and it's going to be okay for me. I'm going to feel better. So I hear you. I feel you. I've been there. I will probably be there again. Let's be honest. I mean, I still got a lot of years left in this business thing. That means that there's going to be more growth. But right now I've never had more clarity in my life and it feels amazing. And so as I'm going through it, I want to bring you along as well. Because one of the things that I was noticing is, I mean, for one, if we're going to have to go woo-woo, because that's just going to have to happen. For the last few weeks, I've been out of sorts. I mean, like to the point 2 weeks ago, my shoulder had a knot form in my shoulder of over the size of a sand dollar, and it's deep. My acupuncture was just like, okay, well, let's work on it. And she's just like, holy crap, this is deep. I love my acupuncturist. I've only been with her for a few weeks and amazing. And I like her as a person a lot. And that happened as everything was starting to get closer to clarity. Like it was like a knot. I'm like, I was telling it later. I'm like, okay, we found our clarity. That means you could go away now, right? Yeah, not so much. But I was exhausted. And I don't mean just the chronic issues exhausted. Yes, on top of that, but so that feeds into it. But absolutely just exhausted mentally, physically. I don't even want to think. I don't want to put together words. I don't want to watch TV even. You know, it's bad when Val doesn't want to watch the movies and the TVs and the binge watch stuff. You know that that's a hard spot, right? If you've been listening for a little while, you know that. And that's where I was. And it was hard for me. I mean, my husband even went on, he had an overtime shift. So I got one of my 24 hours back that I don't hardly ever get now that he got that wonderful promotion. That I love that he got that promotion, but I don't love that I don't have my 24-hour shifts left anymore. Anyways, lots of squirrels on this. I know. Bear with me. I promise. We're getting to quite a few points on this one. But I had the 24 hours and I was actually like, do I use the word caught up? I was not behind. I was exactly where I wanted to be for business wise. I was on time, and it felt amazing. So I should be like rocking it. And it's like, all right, well, let's do just this little fun project then, and we'll binge watch TV all night. And I didn't even want to do that. Like nothing felt good. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? I don't like when it gets that bad. And it wasn't burnout bad, totally different feeling. It was just absolutely exhausted. Like my body is just like, we are tired of doing all of the things and thinking all of the things and being all of the things. We're just tired. And I'm like, oh my God, how do I get out of this? Right? Where is this even going? And I did figure out where I was going. And as soon as that really came to play, I had a suspicion where it was going. But then as soon as I knew for sure that that was going, it really felt like everything just lifted. 100% easy focus. Like, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. This is going, this is going, this is going. You are out. You are out. All of this. I don't mean people. I mean software, stuff like that. Like all of a sudden it was easy to make the decisions of next steps that I needed to make. So one of those next steps was, for quite a while, I've been looking at selling my passion project site. It's coming up on 10 years old now in August. And I've been needing to sell it for a while now. I can't do all of the things. And it's been sitting there and it weighs on me. And yes, the group is still active and amazing. And I love all the women in there, but it just weighs on me. It's just one more thing. We can't do all of the things. And I tried to sell it, but it was 2020 and I didn't really push very hard and I didn't do hard. I burnt out in 2020. So it's just been sitting there. And it was just like an immediate thing. And I just went into the group and I said, hey, I'm like, all right, ladies, I said, this is not a scare tactic or anything like that. I said, but I've had wonderful things coming into my life. Wonderful changes are happening business wise. And I'm selling the website. I'm looking for somebody to take it over. Here's all the details. Here's a price or best offer. I said, or it will be just closed. I'm like, I'm not just going to keep it sitting around anymore. I'm like, I can't do that. And I have to cut ties and move forward. And I had a buyer come up almost immediately. I am excited when in a few weeks we go and sign papers and we're going to have a girls' night and celebrate with wine and just girl chat. It's going to be amazing. So that was first thing of clarity, and amazing how I have kind of half-heartedly tried to sell the site a few times over the last few years, and it was never a thing. And then this one, when I was like, I'm done. This is done. It was easy peasy. I even had a conversation with somebody and told them it wasn't a good fit for them. And, biz coached them to what I would suggest they go work on creating. And they're all excited because they're going to go and do that. So that was cool out of that. The other thing that happened was, and this was part of the exhaustion thing, was I didn't have the energy over that weekend to do a bunch of stuff that I was going to get completed for the new launch that I was going to do here at valselby.com. And it was driving me a little bit bonkers. I'm like, why did that not get done? So I extended the launch date to like 4 days forward. And that's when all of the clarity happened, was in between there. So I was going to launch it on the Monday and I moved it to Thursday, and Tuesday was when the clarity happened. Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably I think it was Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday happened, all the clarity. By Wednesday, I'm like, oh, here's a plan. This is all that's going on. And I canceled my launch, and it was easy yet hard at the same time. That makes sense, right? It was easy because I knew that's what had to happen. Mindset wise, I felt like a fucking failure. And I was aware of how I was feeling. So I was working through it. I'm like, okay, why are you feeling like you're a failure? I mean, asking myself lots of questions to work through it, because intellectually I knew it wasn't a fail, because it wasn't that I was just putting off this launch for no reason. I was putting off this launch because there were more important things that are happening and need to be happening. And my full focus needs to be there. So I did it for the right reasons versus past Val, which was what was popping into my head is about being a failure. Past Val is just like, look at me. Here she goes again. She's got all of these good plans. Look at her sales page. It's even freaking amazing. She even got her affiliate swipes and everything done this year or this launch. Yeah, it is this year. This is going to be my first launch this year. And look at, she's so prepped and she's got all of this stuff ready to go. And of course, something's going to come in and Val is going to cancel and she's not going to do it. And she's not going to do the market, blah, 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 blah. This was what I was telling myself, right? This was what's immediately going through my head. You're going through old habits. I was like, no, stop. We need to think about this. We're not going into old habits. Old habits are, I do not have that awareness and I am self-sabotaging without the awareness happening. It's just happening. This was not a self-sabotage. I was fully aware. I was consciously making decisions of what was taking priority and what was not. So even with all of that, I've still got a little bit of angst going on, okay, this feels weird. You gave yourself permission and it was the right thing to do, but we didn't do that. So then I was talking to the mastermind members and talking about the clarity that's coming up. And I got to a point after the meeting where I was just like, oh my gosh. And that's how this podcast came to be. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just do that to them? How are they feeling? So, one of the mastermind members, I'm also coaching. She's also coaching with me. So I reached out to her right away because she was the one that I was worried about that I might have gone all over. So awesome, blah, 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 follow me kind of thing. And I know I didn't do the follow all these steps because I don't believe in that. There's no single step. There was, we'd all be doing exactly the same steps to get to our business success. And so I reached out to her about the whole clarity thing and how it's feeling and how different it is than clarity that I've had in the past. How this is very, very, very different. Because for one, I manifested this. I absolutely manifested exactly where I am right now. I told you it's going to go woo, but I did. So I was talking back and forth with her on the fact that all of the fails, and I'm doing air quotes here, all of the fails, I'm right now taking a look at all of those fails, those businesses that never hit the potential that I knew that they had. And I moved on to other things for the right reason or the wrong reason, or just walked away. I was not critiquing any of that part. I was just going through, okay, from this website, what did we learn? And from this website, what did we learn? And from this project, what did we learn? And I even spelt it out in an email to her. I'm like, I don't want you to take the time to do this. And you're listening, so I know I'm talking about you. And I even spelt it out going through the different websites like Wife Behind the Fire. I learned that I 100% know what I'm talking about. I 100% can create a raving community of people that want to hear from me and that want to collaborate more and get to know each other. That website group has created so many besties. It's not even quantable. There's over 1,600 women in there and it's a tight-knit group and, they get together. They are each other's backup now. They contact each other. They reach out to each other. They're on the phone with each other all the time. It is beautiful. And I helped facilitate that. I created the space for that to happen. And I know I can create it anywhere I go. Absolutely do believe that. ValSelby.com has never really, ValSelby.com has always been freaking, wow. And both of these websites never had a plan. How's that? How's that for a business coach coming and talking to you? They both started out without any plans whatsoever, which one of them, I will say, Wife Behind the Fire, it didn't start off with a plan, except for we all wanted to get together and we needed a place to reach out to each other. That one always, to its detriment, didn't have a plan. So that was not a positive thing. But ValSelby.com was just my services. It was never meant to go anywhere. So then all of a sudden it was. And I'm like, whoa, where are we going? I don't know. Let me catch up. I'm just barely holding on to the reins here. And there's so many things that I have learned with doing ValSelby.com. Absolutely. So many things, talking to my list more, really building the list out to the people that I wanted to talk to and get to know better, and that were the right community for me to be chatting with. Communicating back and forth to figure out what the needs were just for what to create next in workshops. A lot of that has happened in valselby.com. So much networking, purposeful. All of this is more purposeful with valselby.com. So that said, with all of this clarity, I'm not going forward with things at valselby.com right now. It's going to sit there. It's going to sit there as I do what so many coaches have said over all of the years and really focus on one area. I'm going to be focusing on the collaborations and the partnerships and the joint ventures. And that means I'm just going all in over at Bundle Bash right now. We've had great growth, and the potential there is just astronomical. And I honestly manifested that. That site is what I have wanted for over a decade. I knew along the way that was what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to create it until I had my beautiful partner, Raven, come in and we created exactly what I knew I wanted. And so in the last couple of weeks, it's been really obvious that that's where I need to go and spend all of my time, which is scary for me to go all in one spot, but it's also freeing because I'm looking at, okay, well, you've been doing this, and this. Now we're just over here doing this, and we have a team in place and we have systems in place. And as soon as I get a little bit more comfortable with all of the delegating and that kind of stuff, the sky is the limit with that and collaborating. So that said, that left this podcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And I immediately reached out to my amazing podcast manager about it. I'm like, this is like out of our contract. Like, but here's what's going on, where I can't not have the podcast. I know this because I had my podcast previously and at Your Bold Life, which is still there. yourboldlife.com/podcast. It's still there. You can go and catch up on episodes over there that are wonderful. And I have great interviews, but I'm like, I can't not, because I think it was like 6 months after that I started this one, after I closed the other one down because I wasn't working on that site. And I'm like, I got to talk. I have to talk. It's my ideal form of communication. So what's going to be happening is this is going to be the last podcast that you will find here at valselby.com. As of right now, we're still saying Val full volume because I think it's going to be even more Val full volume. I'm just really, with clarity comes confidence, and I'm really feeling how amazing this is all going to be, working with highlighting people and collaborations and talking about all of that. But I'm going to be moving it over to bundlebash.biz. It's going to be all over there. So it's going to be a one stop. And I have, of course, what was the universe already telling me? I had a big gap in between recording with podcast guests, and they're all coming back on my schedule in June and will be moved over there by then. Well before then, we will be moved over there before the next episode comes out. It'll all be over there, and it'll all point you to that, and it will be easy for you to make the move on over there, but it'll be a little different. It'll just be just a tiny bit different. It's just going to be different branding for over there at Bundle Bash. We're definitely going to talk a lot more about collaborations, and it's going to be a blast, and still talking about all things marketing and business. And who else? I don't know. Whatever else we want to talk about, because that's why it's Val full volume, right? Because there's other things besides just business that are going to come into play. So if you have questions about clarity, or maybe even some help figuring stuff out, or you're aware that stuff is changing and you want to break into it a little bit more, let me know. Hit me up. So many opportunities are coming up. I am so excited. It feels great to be sitting here with this clarity of what I want to be doing and what I want to be creating. And it feels like such a long time coming. So if you take nothing from this conversation today, I want you to realize that it will be there. If you're not there right now, it's coming. You're learning things right now. Figure out what you can be learning in the process while you're figuring it out and waiting for it to hit you. But don't be just waiting for the clarity to hit you, because the clarity is not just going to come up to you out of the blue and say, "Oh, good job. You were watching Schitt's Creek for 3 weeks, but here you go. Here you go. Here's your clarity." Not going to happen. You got to be doing some work. You got to be working towards it. You got to be working on what you think the right thing is right now, because what you're working on is the right thing right now. Is it the right thing for a year from now? We don't know. We're not worried about that, right? You're working it as if it is what's going to be the thing for you a year from now, but you don't have to hold on to it as if this is the end all be all. Amen. Hallelujah. All right. So follow me on over. I know you will, because you're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to go see what's going on over at Bundle Bash. So next episode, we will be over there on the site. But you can always find me at valfullvolume.com. Later.